I have a question from a dear professional friend of mine. Her name is Karuna Ahuja. She's a founder of Eva Club, and it's an elite sort of business coaching for women. And she's a big fan of your work. She's read your book, How Women Rise, thoroughly enjoyed it. And she said, Sally, considering you've coached several women leaders, what would be your advice to women leaders in terms of work-life balance? Is it really possible? And what would be the behaviors that women should exhibit when they look out for a perfect work-life balance that might get in the way of their success?
Well, I've always thought, like many people, more in terms of work-life integration than work-life
Yes,
balance.
right,
You have to think more deliberately in terms of your career as as a spiral rather than a straight line, and that there'll be times probably, and I think this will be increasingly true for men and women
right,
as more work is done at home, that there'll be times when you're a little bit pulled back from your career, and there'll be times where you're very much all in. So thinking a little, to some degree, strategically about how you see that spiral of your integrated work and personal life will be important. So it's a little bit of strategic thinking in the beginning, which no one's being encouraged to do at this point. And then how you play that out. And how you play it out will be very much something that you work out with your partner
right.
as you balance this, as you integrate this. So that needs to be thought through. And then it also depends profoundly upon your network of support. One thing that I found very interesting, and I believe our colleague Herminia Ibarra was the first person to write about this in HBR.
Right.
Uh, Herminia distinguished the three kinds of networks that we all need, especially with reference to women, but it was in general, that we all need a tactical network. That's the people that we go to rely on to do a good job of what we're doing.
Yes.
We need a strategic network. That's the people we connect with when we're saying, is this the direction for me? Can I take this in a different way? How can I adapt this? We're thinking more strategically in terms of our career rather than just our job and the long term. And a personal network, the support network that basically gets us through the day. I
Right.
mean, I can look for me, my support network is my peer coach, my husband, um, to some degree, emotionally, my family, but, they're all over the world. So I communicate with them on WhatsApp. Uh, but that, thinking intentionally, what is and then of course, the cleaning lady who hasn't been here since March, the people that I rely on for my personal support. So that, I think, being really intentional about how you're building those three aspects, your personal, tactical, and strategic network of support, put that word of support in there, that's going to be very important in how you think of your work-life integration in its various stages. What kind of support will I need in that
Right.
in that stage, and what's that going to look like? I'm working with and it's very difficult in this. I'm working with a woman who's CEO of a big trade union, and she has a 13 and 15-year-old at home right now, and she has a big job. She has to negotiate
Right.
all these contracts for the companies in her association, and she doesn't have the ability to use her personal network because no one can go anywhere. But this is a
Right.
temporary thing. We will move out of this. So I think that's the key is thinking in terms of work-life integration, looking at what that may look like for you in terms of the spirals of your career, the points at which you're leaning in, as Sheryl Sandberg would say, or just you know, more in a holding pattern, bringing some intention to that, and then bringing a lot of intention to thinking, you know, what kind of support will I need for that? And what are those components of personal, strategic, and tactical network?
Well, thank you, Sally.